Hey, what's up guys? This is Anthony from Anthony's Customs, and for this review, we are looking at the Threezero MDLX Optimus Prime. And there's two reasons I got this. One, I like Optimus Prime. He's one of my favorite characters. It's just such a classic character design. I love seeing iterations on it. That's why I got the Flame Toys one. That's why most of the Transformers I get are some variation of Optimus Prime or Beast Wars. And this one is a great look for him. I think it's a very nice new interpretation, so I wanted to take a look at it and show you guys, see if it's worth getting. And also, people told me, why would you buy the Flame Toys one for $450 when this one exists and it's only 80 bucks? Or I think it's 80 bucks, something like that. And to them I said, well, they're not even in comparison. It's not even close. And so by the end of this review, we'll see if I was right. Are they even close? I don't think so. Alright, let's go ahead and get him off the stand and take a closer look. This guy stands to the top of his head, including his ear thingies. Well, no, not including the ear thingies. Just shy of 7¼ inches. That's to the top of his head fin, not his ear thingies. That's going to make him roughly, let's just say 18.5 centimeters. And as far as the size comparison goes, here he is up against the best of the Marvel Legends. He comes up to his chest, so this guy's not huge. He's not very big. And I did want to show you the Flame Toys Optimus Prime, but also I would have felt bad for this figure, but also I couldn't find it. I have no idea where it is in my house. It's gone. It's here somewhere, but I don't know where. So you'll have to check out the review up there. I went in detail on it. You'll be able to compare everything you need to just with the information I provided. But before we get into the rest of the review, we have to talk about the sponsor of today's video, which is Into the AM. Now, the reason I'm talking about them today is not only do they have new designs, which I've already showed you in a different video, but I'll show you again. We have this very nice Japan-inspired one with the sakura tree, sakura blossoms, whatever. It's a cherry blossom, and you know, the building and the mountains and stuff. So we have that. We have things like this, which are a little bit more metered, I guess you could say, for those who don't want all the neon colors that I tend to like to wear. They do have the new snapback hats, but that's not it. They have a sale going on right now, and all the information for the sale is going to be in the description below. Go ahead and use my link, and that'll take you there, and you can get this stuff. Now, the key here is I recommend these guys all the time. I think their graphic tees are the best, even at full price. They're totally worth it. When there's a sale, you can't go wrong. You're gonna pay this much for crappy clothes at like Kohl's or any other place. I don't know, wherever you guys shop, for like graphic tees. These are way better. These are by far, if they weren't paying me at all, I'd still be telling you this. These are the best graphic tees I've ever owned. They fit better than anything. The print work is better than anything I've seen. They are fantastic, without a doubt, worth the money at full price. They're on sale, so go check them out. They have their stuff on sale right now. If you don't want to just use the sale, they do have bundling options, and they do have the subscription service. You can do those things. It's all on their website. I've talked about it a million times. They also have other things. Like I said, they have the hat. They have all kinds of different stuff, but really it's the graphic tees, and that's what I would encourage you guys to get, because they are that good. I just think they're awesome, and that's why I keep doing the sponsorships. You guys seem to like them. I like them. Everybody wins. So there's a sale going on. Check out the information and the link in the description below, and let me know if you get anything. Okay, so let's do a quick question of the day. I ask this fairly frequently, but different people watch different videos, so I'm curious. I'm going to ask two questions. One, are you okay with these new, let's say, iterations on the original character designs? These very stylized looks? I personally love them. I love them. I can't wait to get the new Megazord. Actually, I know it's not a Transformer, but it's from Flame Toys, and the Megazord is just, I think that looks awesome. And I like their Optimus and Optimus Primal, and I like this one too. This is a lot more classic looking, but still looks really cool. Okay, and second question of the day. Are you guys okay with non-transforming figures when they're like this? When they're just high-end action figures of the Autobot, not his alt mode, just this. Personally, I think it's perfectly reasonable to be okay with this. I get that they're called Transformers, but they're still characters, and the character is 99% of the time in robot mode doing robot-y things, not just driving around as a car. So it makes sense that you would have a high-end action figure of that character that doesn't transform, and that's why I'm perfectly happy to get them. I would never display a Transformer in alt mode, so I'm all for it. Okay, you guys can debate that in the comment section below, and I'll chime in if I feel like it. Let's dive in. I have to say, I don't have a particular fondness for this company, Threezero, 3A, either of them. I don't like a lot of the way they do things. I'm not generally a fan of their products. This, however, is a very well executed product that I think you're getting plenty for your money. So this has redeemed them a little bit in my eyes. It's mostly really good. There are some things that are just really, really bad on here, which I'll show you. But otherwise, it's pretty cool. Aesthetically speaking, they did a good job. All of the detail work is there. The Autobot logo is super clean. No problems. We have all this little dry brushing going around to make it really come to life. I love the paint job on this figure. It's got a black wash and dry brushing basically everywhere. It looks nice. I think they could have gone a little bit lighter maybe on the silver dry brushing, but everything is super good. All the metallic things are metallic. I could go do without the black windows for Optimus's chest, but that's not a really big deal. But there's just tons of detail work. It's all very, very nice and clean. I love it. Stylistically, I don't love the head, though it's well executed. They did a good job making it. I don't think that design suits Optimus Prime. That looks like some ArtStation type Optimus Prime. Like some anime girl version of Optimus Prime. I don't like that head at all. The round jaw, the upturned eyes, I'm not a fan of that look. Well executed. Maybe you love it. Third question of the day. Do you like that look for Optimus's head? I don't. Okay, so yeah, it looks really nice. The sculpt is sharp everywhere. Proportioning is reasonable for a Transformers figure. I couldn't be happier other than that subjective thing of, well, I guess it's somewhat objective in that it does not have masculine features, but still, subjectively, I don't care for the head sculpt. You might. So other than that, I think it looks really, really good. I think these look goofy as hell, but we'll get into those for the articulation. So either way, 9.5 out of 10. I think for the money, which is like, it's like 80 bucks, I think, something like that. I don't remember when I bought it. I don't remember from when I bought it, but it's perfectly good. So yeah, it's very well executed. Now, as far as accessories goes, this does make me even happier because he's got some pretty cool accessories. The first thing, which I don't really want to count as an accessory because I would always just leave it on, is his backpack. That pegs in right here. Could peg in a little better. Like, it doesn't fall out, but it's a pain in the butt to get in. But his backpack, which looks very nice, just fills him out just a little bit more. I like that. We have a bunch of different hands. We have the 2 fist hands that come on him in the package. We have 2 gripping hands, 2 trigger finger hands, 2 matrix holding hands, 2 I'm in charge and I'm pointing to go over there type hands, and then 2 wide open hands. That's all very nice. We do get his cannon. I do wish it was a little bit smaller. It's humongous. It makes it a little bit cumbersome to pose nicely, but it is nicely done, so I like that. And then we also get his axe, which is beautifully done. I love the paint job on the metal parts, and the orange plastic is lovely. Very, very nicely done. And that's it for the accessories other than the matrix. So, let me show you the matrix. This is one of the things that I think they just botched. I don't like this at all. It really, really bothers me. The only way to get to the matrix is you have to pull his chest off. The matrix falls out sometimes. We'll leave that in there for now. But you have to actually pull his chest off completely to get to it. Even the Lego Optimus had the opening chest flaps. Why do you have to pull it off? Like, it's got magnets on it. Oh, cool magnets. No, I don't want his chest to be ripped off in order to get to the matrix. I want it to just be opening up. That's a missed opportunity for something cool. So yeah, you do get the matrix, which is very nicely done. It does have translucent plastic. Nothing lights up on this figure, by the way, so I can't really hold that against it, but, you know. No, I think it would cost a lot more if it was going to light up. But still, I don't like that the chest has to be removed to get to the matrix, so that is they're going to lose a point there. Otherwise, accessories are cool. Display stand would be nice, but not necessary, so I'm going to go for accessories, 8 out of 10. Having to remove the chest does lose him a point, and no display stand does lose him a point there as well. Also, an alternate head would have been cool. Okay, so let's go ahead and talk about the articulation. There's some interesting stuff going on here. The neck does move around, and the head moves around on it. I believe they're both just ball pegs, so you can get plenty of range out of that, no problem at all. Plenty of nuance. That's all I would want, so I'm happy with that. For the arms, you get this big butterfly joint that lets the whole thing move. It doesn't give you like a ton of extra range, because the arms are pretty capable on their own, but the butterfly does help, so that's okay. Now, the reason the arms are capable on their own is, I believe it's die-cast. I have to look into it. I'm pretty sure there's die-cast on this guy. It's just a big double ball peg holding the arm to the body, so you can move the arm around. If I can hold the butterfly joint in place, I can't really do that. Hopefully you can kind of see what I'm doing. You can move the arm around on top of the butterfly joint on that big ball peg. So that allows you to raise the arm up, it goes down, it goes back. It's nice and tight too, so everything works there. You get your full rotation, there you can kind of see the ball peg in there maybe. Full rotation, no problem there. The shoulder pad is on its own hinge. Then you get the arm on its own hinge, so you can raise the arm up, no problem at all. Perfectly good range. You have the hinge and the ball peg, so plenty of range there, and then this is on a separate hinge from either of those two things. So that's good, I like that. Some of the joints are a little stiffer than others, so it can be a little bit of a nuisance just to get the arms positioned where you want them, but that's a fine problem to have. Bicep swivel is fine, it's right at that seam, no problem. Double jointed elbow, you get one here and then one in the red, so that's the silver joint. And then you get the red joint. Perfectly good range, I love it. The thing that bothers me is you have this piece here. It would have been really nice for that to be spring-loaded to close up that gap. Like, it's just floppy. Why is that like that? It doesn't need to be anything when it's like this. Like, that holds it in place, but it holds it out. So, when you bend it, it should be spring-loaded to close. Otherwise, what's the point? If it's going to hang open anyway, it might as well just be sculpted open, because it stays open when the arm is straight, and it stays open when the arm is bent. That needs a spring to close up that elbow. Otherwise, it serves no purpose. But it's there if you care about that. Now for the wrists, they're little tiny ball pegs that hold the hands onto the forearms, and that's okay, except you get virtually no range out of it because they're so tiny, and the hands either fit on really well, or they're loose, or they're tight, depending on which hand you're trying. So that's kind of a nuisance. But they're actually ball hinges. But they're so freaking stiff that they're basically unusable. They are so stiff. I accidentally mushed this one down to the side, and it fought me to get it back into the neutral position. So technically ball hinges, but really not usable. So you're going to just have some kind of annoying ball pegs, practically speaking, for those hands. Okay, for the torso. I'm not sure exactly how it's engineered on the inside, but I'll show you the range. We do get a hinge going back, and then we get a hinge going forward, and it kind of works like a Gundam, where the center part just tucks into the torso. So you get that. The lower torso is just a ball peg that lets it do kind of like its own wiggle and its rotation. So combining both of those, you can lean him that far forward, which isn't a lot. So you get him that far forward and that far back. It's pretty limited. The torso is not the best range. Side to side, including both joints, again, it's not the most range. His torso is pretty limited. It's Optimus Prime. I wouldn't expect too much out of it for this price point. I think it's okay. For his skirt armor, I'll talk about that before we get into the hips any. It's a lot like a Gundam in that we have ball pegs right here. That just lets this piece kind of flex up and down, or rotate up and down. And then there's a little bit of play, of course. These pieces are connected to these pieces. So the butt flap and the side flap are not one piece, but they're connected. So it's a ball peg that connects the butt flap to the tailbone piece. And then another ball peg that connects the side flap to the butt flap. So that can be a little bit annoying to handle, but it is functionally useful. So I like that, that's okay. Now the hips function just like the shoulders in that we have, and they just pop off. So that's okay. They're just little tiny ball pegs. So just like the shoulders, we have a giant, it appears to be die-cast. I didn't remember reading about it being die-cast, but I might not have read it at all, so I don't know. Big old double ball peg. And like I've said before, simple joints tend to be the best. And die-cast works really well with, I'm assuming it's palm. It could be another type of hard plastic, but the sockets are really nice. They're nice and stiff. And that double ball peg does allow you to move the hip around however you want in there, and you get a thigh swivel. So combining those two, you should be able to get this leg to go wherever you want. You might run into some issues with these guys getting in the way, but there's nothing they could do about that. And they did a pretty good job of making them get out of the way. So you can bring that leg all the way out, full on splits. Spider-Man, eat your heart out. You can do whatever you want with this guy's legs. It works really well. All the way forward, mostly all the way back. And then you just kind of move these around to fill in the gaps, and you'll be okay. So I like that a whole bunch. Could be a little bit tighter, because in some positions on that ball peg, it's a little bit loose, but honestly, it's not loose. It's just, it could be tighter because he's relatively heavy. Okay, so you get your thigh swivel. That's fine. Double jointed knee. Let's see how well this works. It works really well. It's not the best looking knee in the world. It's just a big flat knee. They didn't do anything for the knee pad to hide the ugly joint. So that's not the best thing. That's definitely maybe the worst thing. It's not good. It's plenty of range, but I would have liked to see something. Like, maybe the inside of the knee could have had like a knee pad sculpted onto it rather than just a bunch of kibble. So that's a bit annoying. But you do have these pieces that collapse into themselves to allow it to function. It's good engineering. It just could be better designed. The form over the function. So that's good. Does this piece move? It looks like it moves, but I think it's just a separate piece. It feels like it moves. Does it move? Oh, why is that flap there? Why is that flap there? It doesn't do anything. Does anybody know why that flap is there? I didn't see that in the directions. Why is that spring-loaded flap there? That bothers me. I want to know. What the heck? It doesn't do anything. I guess if you go all the way up, no. If you only do that, oh, okay. So that flap helps if you're going to do a deep knee bend using only this joint. Okay. That's interesting. Well, we learned something together, guys. Even more knee shows without a knee pad, but you can do a singular jointed knee bend. Don't bend the top part, just the bottom, and that flap will tuck in. So they do know how to do springs. That should have a spring. Alright, well that's cool. I like that they included that. That's a very functional knee. Not the best looking, but I like the function, so that's good. Points for them. Okay, for the feet, we do have these little flaps here that go up on either side. Obviously you don't leave them up, but you can move them up like that. I'm going to leave them there so that I can show you the articulation. On the back you have another flap right here. That's not going to do as much. And so you can see the ankles are, again, hopefully you can see in there. It's another giant double ball peg, which is good. It's very, very stiff. So if you want to bring the toe down, you bring the joint forward and you can lean the toe down. If you want to bring the toe up, you bring the foot back and the toe goes up. But this piece right here gets in the way. So I wouldn't do that. I would leave it down and then just use the toe hinge to do that, and that probably would be better. You do get the toe hinge. Alright, so with that double ball peg, you get okay ankle rocker. It's not great, but it's enough, and then of course these flaps you just put back around it. So the flaps all work fine, the ball peg works fine, you can move the foot around well. The only thing that doesn't work well is this giant ugly ankle flap that just sticks out. Looks like crap. It looks like it's not in the right place, but it is. And the reason it doesn't work well is it's on a double ball peg, but the double ball peg, it connects right here. So let's say that connects, I'm not gonna be able to draw it with my finger for you guys to see. So it connects in right here, then it's like kind of S-shaped and connects in again all the way in here. So it's a really long double ball peg that doesn't really go anywhere. It can't move up and down, and it doesn't really move side to side too much. So it's a really impractical way of doing that ankle flap. I don't know why they didn't just put a hinge on it like they did for every other flap. That would have been way, way better. Even if it was just a ball peg so it could rotate some, that's not a good design. This makes it look really ugly. I would even say, I would suggest if you're into modifying things, chop that ball peg, and then either just leave the flap off completely, though I wouldn't recommend that. I would just reconnect it some other way so that it's not sticking out. That's not a good design. But otherwise, this guy has pretty solid articulation. I love the basic ball peg combinations, and it works well. It looks good posed, it works well. I don't really have too many complaints, it's just those goofy ankle flaps. So for articulation, I'm going to give this guy a 9 out of 10. It could be a little better, but it's pretty darn good. So yeah, it's really, really solid. I'm very, very pleased with it. I think for your money, this is an excellent buy. If you are inclined to get non-transforming Transformers figures and spend 80 bucks on something, this should be on your list. It's a really solid figure. I very much enjoy it. It looks great. It poses well. It comes with cool accessories. The only real downside I have other than those ankles is the sculpt of the face. But when you're not too close to them, you're not going to see that much anyway. So yeah, I guess also the chest not opening up for the Matrix. But yeah, it's a really, really, really solid figure. For the price point, I definitely recommend it. I'm going to give it a final rating of 9 out of 10. One of the best buys I've made in a while as far as value per dollar. Threezero earned a little bit more of my, I don't want to say respect, my tolerance. I'll tolerate them a little bit more and I'll give them more chances perhaps in the future. But I haven't been thrilled with them in the past, but this is definitely a solid figure, so I can't hold it against them at all. So there you go. I like it. Let me know how you guys feel about it in the comment section below. Alright guys, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please do give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down. And if you haven't subscribed, you might want to. I have new videos almost every single day and thousands already on the channel. So make sure you come back for all of that. And in the meantime, keep collecting.